call to order this regular meeting of the Torrington Board of Education at 5:31. A little bit of a late start. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is above the door behind you. Pledge allegiance. Thank you. And Ms. Conway, when you are ready, call the roll.
Mr. Berger? Here. Ms. Conway, here. Mr. Corey?
Here.
Mr. Cronin?
Excused.
Mr. Euclideo? Here. Mr. Kisko?
Here.
Mr. Knight?
Here.
Mr. Kalesha?
Here.
Mr. Putnam?
Here.
Ms. Saleo?
Here.
Mayor Spino or representative? Dr. Baker? Ms. Ferguson? Here. Ms. Labby?
Here.
Mr. Pergola?
Here.
Ms. Schulte? Here. Ms. Vians? Mr. Wilson?
Here.
Great, thank you. We have next the approval of the agenda. I haven't been asked to seek any amendments or changes, but if anyone is looking for them, now would be the time. And if not, I would hear a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second? Okay, any further discussion, amendments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Our agenda is approved. We have next the school community service and public participation, and I did see some signups, so I have to read the paragraph. The board invites members of the community to speak on topics to be addressed in the agenda or on other topics of interest. Individuals wishing to make comments are requested to fill out the speaker sign-up sheet, including name and address, which must be stated at the beginning of your comment. The board will not allow comments regarding specific staff members, parents, students, or personal grievances. Courtesy is expected in this limited public forum. The participating time will be limited to 3 minutes per person or 10 minutes overall. We first have Mr. Jason Lafreniere.
Good evening. Jason Lafreniere, special education teacher here at Torrington Middle School. Been the representative on the budget subcommittee in the past and currently on the policy committee. I'm a resident of Granbury, Connecticut. We haven't always seen eye to eye, but we've maintained mutual respect for each other's positions and insights, and I want to take a moment to honor the dedicated service of our Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Ferguson, as she announces her retirement. Thank you for your service. Next, I'd like to take a moment to address some concerns that were raised at a recent meeting regarding communication, meeting access, and the budget process, while also recognizing the work of the board. First, I want to acknowledge that there are many parents and community members who genuinely want to be involved, stay informed, and support our schools. That level of engagement is a positive thing and should be encouraged. We need more of it. At the same time, there appears to be some misunderstanding about how information is shared and how decisions are made. Board of Education meeting dates, agendas, and updates are consistently posted and publicly available. While it may sometimes take effort to locate that information, it is accessible and ongoing communication is being provided. Continuing to improve clarity and visibility is always worthwhile, but it's also important that we as a community take some responsibility for staying informed. There also seems to be confusion about how the school budget process works. The Board of Education develops and proposes a budget based on what it determines is necessary to effectively run the district, or I should say the superintendent does, and the board deliberates on that, to run the district and meet student needs. However, the board does not have the authority to generate revenue or unilaterally set the final budget. That responsibility lies with the Board of Finance and city leadership, who ultimately determine the funding level. Please approve to send a budget to the Board of Finance that is all in. Let them be the ones responsible for cutting funding to education. Because of this structure, when concerns about funding arise, it is critical that those concerns are shared not only here, but also at Board of Finance meetings. I understand that meeting times can be difficult, especially for families and all the responsibilities that come with that, but those are the venues where financial decisions are made and community input can have the greatest impact. It is also important to note that all townwide meetings provide a way for the public to submit comments to be entered into the official record. For those who are unable to attend in person, submitting written public comment ensures that your voice is still heard and becomes part of the meeting minutes. Families and community members should take advantage of this option when attendance is not possible. Finally, I want to express appreciation for the Board of Education. It is clear that the board is advocating for what it believes students and staff need, and that effort matters. At the same time, continued transparency and communication will help ensure that families feel informed and included. Moving forward, a shared understanding of roles, responsibilities, and processes will help strengthen collaboration between the board, families, and the broader community. When everyone understands where decisions are made and how to effectively engage, we are in a much better position to support our schools and our students. Finally, I strongly encourage the Board of Education to approve the revised dress code policy that was negotiated between the BOE and the teachers union. While the revision was prompted by unfortunate circumstances, the negotiated changes benefit all bargaining units and represent a fair and collaborative resolution. Approving this policy will ensure consistency and equity across our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lafreniere. I next have Carly Goodwin.
Good evening. My name is Carly Goodwin, and I'm a parent and a nurse in this community. First, I want to thank you all for your time and all the work that you put in, and a special thank you to Mr. Wilson for meeting with me previously. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of many concerned parents in the district. As we have all come to witness, behavioral and special education costs have risen 65% over the past decade. Connecticut alone has required a $70 million increase this past year. We seem to be pouring a lot of resources into putting out the fires and not enough in preventing them. We need to switch our focus to the most basic level of care that we are providing these students, and that starts with nutrition and digital access. If you were to take a look at the lunch menu, tomorrow's breakfast is a cinnamon roll and juice. Now, nutritional value contents are not provided, so I'm going off an estimate based upon each item. An average juice box consists of 18 to 25 grams of sugar, which is comparable to a can of soda. And an average cinnamon roll, even labeled as organic, would consist of roughly 24 grams of sugar, all consumed within the first 30 minutes of entering our schools. Not one option for this month provides any source of protein. So now within 30 to 60 minutes of consuming 50 grams of sugar, a child's body experiences rapid blood sugar spike, followed by a hard crash as their body overproduces insulin to manage this. Results: behavioral interruptions, cognitive decline, and suppression of the immune system. Long-term effects: diabetes, obesity, mental and health disorders, and developmental delays. Your most recent triennial assessment report shows much room for improvement here. There are numerous grant-based programs that we can explore as a community that brings nothing but whole foods to our kids' trays. Eat Real and Local Lunchbox are just two of the many that we can look into. Better nutrition isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Now, moving on to the daily screen and Chromebook use, here we see research and studies continuously prove the reduction of comprehension, increase in mental health instability, along with an artificial dopamine dependency. The list of detrimental side effects go on, and it is ridiculous to assume that there are any benefits at this point. One link in particular between the two that concern me the most is excessive screen time and poor nutrition can mimic and exacerbate ADHD symptoms, leading to overdiagnosis and unnecessary medicated children. Studies repeatedly show that reducing screen time and improving diet can reduce ADHD symptoms by 50%. So because there's no biological marker for ADHD, diagnosis relies on behavior, and that can be confounded with lifestyle. My husband's testimony will further explain my inner outrage on that particular topic. But moving forward, prevention will always cost less than intervention. So what seems convenient now with processed foods and one-to-one tablets will end up costing us more down the line. But not only that, these kids come to school with complete trust, believing that we are providing them with the best care. However, we are greeting them with a bag of sugar and an iPad, and then punishing them for how their body reacts, which is out of their control. And we also wonder why our teachers are at an all-time level high of burnout. We as parents would like to be given complete transparency moving forward, so this includes listing nutritional values under each menu option, along with screen time log to be sent home daily. The time and reason why these screens are being used needs to start being documented. There should be no tablets allowed during free time or Fun Day Friday. That is time that they should be developing their social skills. While I am aware that certain guidelines and standards may be in place, you have an opportunity here to lead and to raise those standards and make Torrington a district that others want to follow. I am here to offer any and all support needed, and from the responses I have received from an anonymous parent survey that I put out, I can promise you have the support of many other families in this district. I will continue to advocate for these kids until progress is shown and the concern is shared, because they deserve better, and their futures are determined by the choices we make. So it's time we start choosing better for them. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. We next have Stephen Goodwin.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Goodwin, and I'm also a parent in Torrington School District. I am here tonight to add to the testimony for change in nutrition and eliminating screen use. As my wife stated, poor nutrition and excessive screen time has continually been linked to the increase in behaviors, poor school performance, and ADHD symptoms. When our oldest son first entered kindergarten, we allowed him the full school experience. That included school breakfast, lunch, and the introduction to screen use. His behavior changed drastically, and shortly into the school year, he was diagnosed with ADHD. With daily phone calls from the teacher and principal, we were advised from our pediatrician to introduce medication. After a year of multiple trials of different medications, horrific side effects, and no substantial evidence that this plan was working, we decided to stop all medications and use a different approach. We stopped getting school lunch and went back to a whole food diet designed for ADHD. Within days of eliminating the artificial ingredients and providing home lunch, his behavior stopped. While we continue to provide home lunch, we are concerned for the other students who are being overdiagnosed and unnecessarily medicated. Nutritional education needs to be incorporated into the curriculum at a level they can understand and implement. Food is our first line of defense and the most important foundation to achieving any type of excellence. Instead of hyper-focusing on test scores, you need to be more concerned with the students as a whole to make our town a place to be proud of. While the food we provide eliminates hyperactivity for our children, excessive screen use has been a continued issue for our family. We do not allow screens in our home based on the research provided and the evidence we have seen with their behaviors, but we have no control when we send them to school. We see the effects immediately. On days where screens are used more without even asking, we can tell with their behavior. School should not be a place where children need to recover from. We would never bring this information forward if we didn't experience it firsthand and see the effects of what real food and limited electronics can do for a child. With that being said, paper-based learning needs to be brought back, and proper nutrition needs to be seen as the most important building block to education moving forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm having a little trouble reading this one, Glenn. No, we just did Stephen. You signed up in the fourth slot on the list. Oh, okay. It's fine. My handwriting is not legible to anyone, including myself, so. It is.
My name is challenging. So my name is Kaylee Blakesley, not spelled in the anglicized way, and I'm a parent of 2 students in Torrington. So I'd like to first acknowledge the dedication and the hard work of all the wonderful educators and caring adults in the district's employ, many of yourselves included. They do more with less each and every day. They are owed a debt of gratitude that can never be repaid, and I would like to name them all individually, but I will not spend the time doing that. Once again, I am here to ask you to refocus your attention on the children at Torrington Intermediate School. The budget presented for approval offers no funding, not 1 cent, for outdoor access and improvements at TIS. The 5-year budget for facilities offers not 1 cent in $80+ million for elementary students to be able to play outside in elementary school at TIS. The building formerly known as Torrington Middle School that we as taxpayers decided needed to be replaced with a brand-new middle school because it was outdated and needed too many repairs. Now, next Tuesday, there is a vote for a budget for a roof, which I am going to vote yes for because it's needed and it's only getting more expensive, but so is everything else. So I ask you to please allocate some money to improve the outdoor space at TIS. And if you can't do that, I ask you to put a policy in place that allows the students to go outside every day. My son did not have recess today. It's not because there's not space, and it's not because there's not money. There's challenges, but we can figure this out. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where is the will? Meet Torrington Intermediate School, same as Torrington Middle School. Has anyone driven by there lately? What's different on the outside? A couple of gaga pits that the kids aren't allowed to use? And there's no plan. And if I'm wrong, please take the time to correct me. You want to eliminate screen time? Get the kids outside every day. It's not that hard, but it's impossible if you don't try. We were told that this is a transition year. I don't see transition, I see stagnation. I'm not trying to be negative. We were told that this is a rebuilding year, yet I don't see the building blocks. What exactly are we building? Because all I can see now is that you have 5 years of middle school, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. You want us to be patient, but there is no solution being offered. Those days we had a couple weeks back where it was in the 70s, my child didn't have outdoor play. You say it's our responsibility to take our kids outside. You say Torrington people are too poor to afford clothes in the winter. That's why they can't go outside. Outrageous, ridiculous. You say it's a difficult budget year. Nobody knows that more than the parents who are working 2 jobs. That's why they're not here. You use this false dichotomy, this logical fallacy, to say that we cannot possibly afford any money for the elementary students at TIS because that would mean important critical layoffs. That is incredibly linear thinking when it is your job to think creatively. That's what we ask the students every day. I reject that fallacy. And I say to you once again, where there is a will, there's a way. We're talking about more than $80 million. Will one of you please find the will to allow the elementary students to be able to have a childhood that doesn't stop at 3rd grade? Thank you.
Thank you. That's everybody. I don't know where the sign-up sheet went. That's everybody. Yeah, okay. That's everybody who's signed up. As always, I will put out the ask to anyone else. Is there anyone else here who would care to address the board? Okay. And I just would remark, because it's been a while since we had lots of people come and testify, the board's meeting rules do not create the opportunity to sort of immediately address the things that were brought up. But a lot of these are topics that are before the board either today or in the coming months. So I just don't want anyone to perceive this as us choosing to ignore everything that was just said. So with that, we will move to the next item on our agenda, which is, what's that? I don't think, do we have anybody online who wanted to testify? No, okay. Thank you for reminding me. Then we will move to the recognitions. Take it away, Mr. Wilson.
Good evening, everyone. We have several recognitions tonight, which we're very happy about. I'm going to call them up in order. First, we're going to call up Principal Michelson from Southwest.
Here's Brianna. Can Brianna come up? Got a special dress on. Or you can clap. this is Brianna, Brianna Arbadola Greffa, and she is a Southwest recipient of the award this month. And she's a kindergartner, the first Southwest kindergartner that's been here in a very long time. We're very proud of her. She's a multilingual learner. She entered kindergarten this year with very limited English and has shown such amazing growth by working really hard. She understands a great deal of English now and is able to write and read English, knows almost all of her sounds. She can sound out words. Her phonemic awareness continues to strengthen, and she approaches every math problem with tenacity, with determination, and always, always tries. But more importantly, she's a kind, respectful, quiet leader in the classroom. She consistently follows directions, supports her classmates, and helps others focus during partner and group work. And she represents what it means to work hard, persevere, and we are incredibly proud of all she's accomplished, and she's just in kindergarten.
Good. Go ahead over here.
Okay, I'm just going to translate what Mr. Michelson stated. Me enorgullece compartir que Brianna Arboleda Grefa es la estudiante seleccionada de Southwest School para recibir este reconocimiento. Brianna es una estudiante multilingüe que comenzó el jardín de infantes con muy poco conocimiento del inglés y el progreso que ha logrado este año ha sido realmente extraordinario. Ahora comprende mucho más, ha aprendido casi todas las letras y sus sonidos y está comenzando a leer el pronunciar las palabras. Su conciencia fonémica sigue fortaleciéndose y en matemáticas enfrenta cada desafío con determinación y con la disposición de intentarlo, incluso cuando el trabajo es difícil. Más allá de su crecimiento académico, Brianna es amable, respetuosa y una líder tranquila en el salón de clases. Ella sigue las instrucciones de manera constante, apoya a sus compañeros y ayuda a que otros se mantengan enfocados durante el trabajo en pareja y en grupo. Brianna representa lo que significa trabajar con esfuerzo y perseverancia. Estamos muy orgullosos de todo lo que ha logrado.
Mrs. Morton from Vogel, come on down. Oh. We can do an audible, that's fine. Principal Scott, come on down.
So we have two sets of students that we would like to be recognized tonight. Our first group, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Sullivan, and he will explain to you what they're being recognized for.
Would you like to join me? Fantastic. So tonight we're here to honor several of our both middle school and high school students.
Just high school.
Just high school? Well, we have some names for middle schoolers as well, that have made the Northern Regional Festival that is hosted by the Connecticut Music Educators Association every year. It is appropriate we're doing it today, as this is March is Music in Our Schools month, so we love celebrating music, especially in March. So we are lucky to have several very talented students who were able to make this regional festival. From the middle school, do you want to go with those names? So those are yours.
We have Sahara Montas, who made regionals for orchestra, Jaden Salcedo, who made band, Angel Vasquez, who made it in band, and Natalia Medina, who made it in band.
Fantastic.
I didn't know they were supposed to be here.
That's what I have. For our high school students, we had Austin Benson, who made it for orchestra, Andrew Quito for jazz ensemble, Jane Riley, Lily Artruck, and Thomas Riley for band, and Olga Romero, Peyton Sutherland, and Anthony Loja for choir. We have one other thing to add to that, later on this month, actually next week, that will be the CMEA All-State Festival, which is where all of the regions from the South, North, East, and West, all of the kind of best of the best, are chosen and are selected to perform at. And two of our students also made those groups, which are Austin Benson for orchestra and Olga Romero for choir, both of whom are freshmen and have very bright musical futures here in our school. So we'd love to honor all of those students today. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
The second group of students that we're going to be recognizing tonight are our JROTC cadets, and this has to do with our review, which I'll have Colonel Caloris fill you in a little bit about.
First, I'd like to thank Superintendent Wilson, Assistant Superintendent Ferguson, and the Board of Education for inviting us here this evening. We are very happy to recognize our outstanding Corps of Cadets for receiving the highest possible rating, exceeds standards, on our recent Higher Headquarters Unit evaluation. The cadets put a lot of time and effort into the preparation for the evaluation, and on the day of the evaluation, they performed brilliantly. I would especially like to recognize the extra effort put in by our executive staff, our 30-step drill team, and the color guard for this evaluation. Master Sergeant Wallace and I are very proud of all the cadets, and we are grateful for the support given to the JROTC program by the entire high school staff and school administration. Thank you. So we'd like to call up the cadets, and we're going to start with our Corps Commander from the first semester, who is Cadet Nick Borgia. And our Corps Commander for the second semester, who's Chase Elliott. Okay. Snyder Alvarez, Atencia. Jeremy Alvarez. Dylan Bautista Torres. Zalisha Borja Tapia. Aiden Brown. Kevin Carpio Tamayo. Nicole Chacha Salinas. Alexander Charette. Israel Chow Kelly. Justin Chiqueza Torres. Christiana Coleman. Alani Coles. Michael Cologne. Cameron Kuhn. Julianne Cristiano. Charlene Cuello Lovera. Ana Diaz Nuez. Alan Dutin. Diego Flores. Crystal Gonzalez. Deanne Gutierrez. Beliani Guzman. Hisham Hassan. Shahir Hassan. Michelle Jaden. Brianna Jordan. Brody Kessel. Giovanni Loja Chuki. Adolfo Lopez. Gabriel Mazikane. Erica Medina Yanza. I just read, Eva Lugo Mejia. Okay. Ismael Medina Yanza. Owen Miller. Gabriela Miranda Naranjo. Alexis Montero. Deanna Mora. Elva Mora. Macy Morgan. Jasa Oliver. Rodrigo Penaranda. Justin Peralta. Sarah Valley. Isaira Perez Rios. Walter Kritizaka. Dana Rivas Nunez. Olga Romero. Carl Salinas. Michael Sykes. Jocelyn Tomei. Christina Todd. Ulysses Oloa. Yusrael Vasquez. Katia Velasquez. Angel Velez. Zoemily Ventura. Ian Verbicus. And Angel Zazut Montoya.
So he's doing the pick too.
Oh, yes, I can. My hands are really big. There we go. Yeah, I got it.
Thank you all very much.
File out the way we came in, one at a time. File out the way we came in. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I'm rich.
Mrs. Morton? Okay, come on down.
Do you want to say hi?
We are honoring one of our incredible first grade students to this evening, and his wonderful teacher, Ms. Zirkle, is going to do the honors of saying a little something about Paul Idrovo.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Zirkle, first grade teacher at Vogel Wetmore, and today I'd like to celebrate a very special first grader named Paul Idrovo. Paul is always willing to help others, whether it's lending a hand to his friends, sharing materials, or making everyone feel included. His kindness and positive attitude make our classroom a better place every single day. He communicates with adults and classmates in such a mature, thoughtful way that it truly stands out. Because of this, Paul serves as a role model for his peers, showing them what respect, kindness, and responsibility look like. Most importantly, Paul embodies what it means to be a Vogel Wetmore Eagle. He leads with kindness, works hard, treats others with respect, and always gives his best. And of course, we cannot forget one of the favorite parts. Paul gives the best hugs and shares the brightest, most cheerful smile. His joy fills our classroom and reminds us how wonderful it is to learn and grow together. We are so proud of Paul, and thank you, Paul, for shining your light in our school.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming. That's certainly the largest group of ROTC students I've seen in my time on the board, which is really exciting. I'm glad that that program is thriving. That being said, we have lots left on our agenda, so we'll go right ahead to our student representatives. Take it away.
Good evening, my name is Andrew Quito.
And my name is Lily Artruck.
We will be your student presenters tonight. Here are the highlights from Torrington High School over the past 2 months.
In music, members of our THS choir had the incredible opportunity to perform on stage with Old Crow Medicine Show at the Warner Theater during their holiday Hootenanny concert. Performing alongside a Grammy Award-winning group in front of a packed audience was a proud and memorable moment for our students.
February marked 100 years of Black History Month. At THS, students and clubs honored this milestone through educational displays and daily announcements highlighting influential Black leaders. Our Black Student Union and National English Honor Society helped create meaningful opportunities for learning, reflection, and celebration within our school community. Our Ethics Bowl team traveled to the Yukon Stores campus to compete in the Connecticut Ethics Bowl, part of the National High School Ethics Bowl. The team had its most successful season yet, earning victories over several highly competitive schools and finishing just one win away from the finals. Judges praised their preparation and critical thinking skills.
In academics, students are preparing for the SAT on April 1st by participating in a daily problem of the day challenge through Google Classroom, with raffle prizes encouraging participation. In English classes, students in Mrs. Strahowski's class completed a creative analysis project on The Great Gatsby, creating visual posters assigning responsibility to characters for the events of the novel. Spanish 2 honor students in Mrs. Brennan's class presented entirely in Spanish to visiting native speakers and Yukon Spanish students from the University of Connecticut. This authentic immersion experience strengthens students' confidence in real-world communication skills. Our science programs continue to provide strong hands-on learning opportunities. AP Chemistry students conducted an advanced equilibrium lab using a vernier colorimeter to analyze chemical reactions, while students in Mrs. Brewer's class welcomed Dr. James Gill, who spoke about his career and led a forensic case analysis activity with students.
In the arts, the THS Art Department is actively preparing for the annual Empty Bowls event on March 19th at St. Paul's Lutheran Church. Members of the Clay Club have created ceramic pieces that will be sold to raise funds for the Torrington Soup Kitchen. The department is also looking forward to an upcoming field trip to the Museum of Modern Art in April.
Our Air Force JROTC program earned an exceeds standards rating during its national evaluation, scoring 94.8% and exceeding 9 out of 10 standards. The cadets were recognized for excellence in leadership, presentation, drill, and service. We celebrated a change of command ceremony where Cadet Chase Elliott assumed leadership of the Corps. Finally, we recently welcomed Full Spectrum, part of the United States Heritage of America Band from Langley Air Force Base. The group performed for students and shared information about their mission, supporting American values and veterans through music.
In athletics and student activities, our indoor track team delivered an impressive performance at the Naugatuck Valley League Championships. Multiple athletes earned personal records and podium finishes, and both 4x400 relay teams placed third overall. Qualifying athletes are now competing in the CIAC Indoor Track State Championships. The THS cheer team earned third place at the Berkshire Invitational hosted at Northwestern High School. Torrington also proudly hosted the NVL Unified Basketball Tournament, welcoming teams from several schools across the region for a day of inclusive athletics, teamwork, and sportsmanship. On the basketball court, the Torrington girls team celebrated senior night with a 50-34 victory over Oxford at the Connie Donahue Gymnasium. Senior Annabella Mara led the team with 18 points as the Rangers extended their winning streak and secured a spot in the CIAC Division III Girls Basketball State Tournament.
We are proud to celebrate senior Gabriel Mazzacane, who has been named a National Merit Finalist, placing him among the top high school students in the nation. Gabriel has also earned his private pilot license through the AFJROTC Flight Academy and plans to pursue a career as a commercial pilot.
Looking ahead, students are actively planning May's Raider Rally, our biannual charity event supporting local food banks and shelters. Student organizers have already raised over $2,000 and continue working on event promotion and community partnerships.
Finally, a reminder that graduation regalia orders are open now and must be submitted by April 1st. These accomplishments reflect the leadership, talent, and dedication of our students and staff. Thank you for your continued support of Torrington High School.
Thank you both, especially for the reminder that I too need to order my graduation regalia, because Julie has reminded me several times and I still haven't. Thank you both. Of course, our student representatives were always welcome to stay, although I don't think they would like to. But we're going to dive in now to the normal business of the board, starting with the superintendent's report.
Good evening, thank you. So as hopefully the board has appreciated when they walked in this evening and people have seen, this is Board Appreciation Month. So on behalf of Central Office and all of the staff at Torrington, happy Board Appreciation Month. And thank you on behalf of the students and staff for all that you do. Your dedication and commitment do not go unnoticed. And we cannot be more fortunate and proud to call each and every one of you true members of the team. So thank you. It is a thankless job. We understand that, and there's a lot of hours that go in behind it. So this evening is a little token of our appreciation. This past month, I had the pleasure to read to my friends at both Southwest and at the intermediate school. It was an amazing and wonderful time. I think Miss Conway was following me because she was in every hall after I read to my group. I hope she had as much fun as I did. And we even had the chance to have some Q&A with the students. And I could tell the board, if they were up here speaking, a couple of things that they want to be heard is less snow days, believe it or not, but then more time for the summer. So that was the two things I told them I would take back to the board. Assistant Superintendent Ferguson and I had a wonderful lunch with two of our friends from Torringford. They put their possum tickets in for a chance to have lunch with us, and we had an amazing time. Principal Gallulo joined us, and I can tell you it was nonstop laughter from start to finish. They also gave us a great idea on how to improve some things in Torringford, and Mr. Pergola actually got an earful because he happened to be in the hall and we called him in as well. So all good things, but it was actually really funny and it was a great opportunity. On Monday of this week, we actually held an open forum for our budget Q&A where everyone from the team along with the board was able to hear and field any questions from community members that came out. Next week, Assistant Superintendent Ferguson, myself, and Ms. Labby will meet with the Alliance, our representative from the Alliance Grant, in terms of progress towards each and every one of our goals on the Alliance Grant that was written for this year, as well as to discuss possibilities for next year and what would stay and what would not. But it's the primary focus is for our mid-year evaluation this year. As our student representative said, our spring sports seasons are underway, and our student athletes continue to make us proud, both on the field or in the drama productions or in the chorus, as we heard tonight, or in the band, and obviously on the field and in the classroom as well. And as always, I want to say a big thank you to all of our staff and our administrators and our students for all of their hard work that they do each and every day. We could not be prouder of that hard work and that effort, and we know March is a long month, but hang in there, and great things are happening in the classroom and will continue to happen. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions or remarks related to the superintendent's report? You know, I always thought it was strange that Board Appreciation Month falls in March, because I feel that it is probably wisest to wait until after the board's adopted a budget to determine how appreciative you may be. But we'll move right along to Human Resources report. Has it always been that I feel like Sue usually goes second? Did you change it again? No, am I crazy? Well, either way, take it away, Kim.
Okay, thank you very much. So as usual, you have the report in front of you. We have 1 certified vacancy, and we have a total of 8 classified vacancies. I looked at where we were last year, and that's actually the exact same number that we had at this time last year. So it's pretty standard. We are actively filling all of those positions, so I do anticipate several of them to be taken care of. We have actually posted our anticipated vacancies in our shortage areas for 26-27. So we have gotten some of those posted. We are just in the shortage areas. We've gotten those out to make sure that we are taking advantage of candidates that are doing their student teaching in the ed prep programs and actively recruiting for those positions. So we're excited about that. Our substitute fill rates continue to be success. 86.4% year to date is just still a tremendous number that you know, is almost 20 points higher than where we were at this time last year. So that's certainly something to be proud of. And then 66.8 for the paras is also almost 26 points higher than where we were at this time last year. So both numbers are trending in a very positive direction that is certainly being felt at the school level. Year-to-date absences, again, our teachers are trending right about where they were at this time last year, year-to-date, and our paras are about 2 points below where they were last year, which is a positive result. We're showing that our paras are present a little bit more than where they were last year, so that is positive as well. Are there any questions about the first page?
Any questions from the board? I actually just have one. With the vacancies, you know, the English teacher at FAST, just because I know there aren't a lot, like it's a small program there, right?
Correct,
So there aren't
yeah.
a lot of people. So what do we do when there's a vacancy? I mean, do we engage a long-term sub, or do we ask a teacher to transfer and see if there's any takers?
We have a qualified substitute that's been filling in since that position became vacant. So we've had consistency in the classroom, and we've actually engaged support from the department chair at the high school to help support that substitute in that area. So it's been very much appreciated, and I think we've been able to provide consistent instruction for the students till we are able to fill that position. And we do have applicants, so I'm hoping we will not see that on the vacancy list next month.
Fabulous. And there weren't any other questions, I don't think, so.
Okay, just quickly on the second page, again, our percentage of our jobs that are being filled by ESS in comparison to Torrington Public Schools, we are seeing an improvement in that, which is showing evidence that ESS continues to be very responsive to our needs. And then one interesting note with the month-to-date absence reasons is just there was a shift in the long-term absences between the teachers and the paras, and that might be kind of accounting for some of our reason why the para absences are showing that they're lower than last year. The teacher absences are showing the same, just because we seem to have had some long-term absences this year. That's a little bit higher than where we were last year. So a lot of the absences a lot of what's driving that percentage is really those long-term absences, maternity leaves, FMLA, anything of that nature. So just a point of interest. And then again, our turnover, again, pretty consistent with where we were. We are seeing our end-of-year retirements coming in, so you can see on the right where I'm kind of showing you how many people have put in, for the year, to the year end. So you can see the comparison of the separations this year versus how many are actually working through June 30th. So while you see 19 paraeducator separations, not all 19 are gone mid-year this year. Some of them are through the end of the year. So that is my report. Oh, and I just did want to add that I got to read at Southwest for the Read Across America. So I was very excited about being invited. So thank you, Mr. Michelson, for inviting me. I had a wonderful time. And that's all I have. I will entertain any other questions.
Thanks. Any other questions? None from the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are on to the special education report from Dr. Baker, or is she?
She's excused this evening, and she has her report in there, and she shared that if there are any specific questions, to please email them to me, and I will forward them to her for her to respond back.
Great. So bearing in mind that you can write them in, does anyone have any discussion items related to the special education report? Okay. Then next is the Office of Teaching and Learning. Take it away, Sue.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. So you heard our student representatives reference this evening the fact that they're gearing up for SATs on April 1st, and we are also looking at opening our testing window for all of our state assessments that pretty much consume us, educators and students, throughout the entire spring, quite honestly. And we've had this conversation, the board has had this conversation many, many times. So I have something to share with you, which some of the folks on the board may chuckle. I'm looking at you, Mr. Kisco, as I share this news. The timing of this is interesting because the Connecticut Department of Education has recently completed a statewide assessment audit, which was required by the legislature to better understand purpose and impact of testing across school districts. The state subsequently convened a webinar with district leaders across Connecticut to review key findings and implications, and the Torrington Public Schools Office of Teaching and Learning participated. Findings reinforce national trends indicating that simply increasing the volume of testing alone does not lead to improved student outcomes. As a result, he's laughing. As a result, the state is encouraging districts to move toward more balanced assessment systems that reduce redundancy, prioritize instructional relevance, and ensure that assessments are clearly aligned to instructional vision and curriculum. So obviously this direction closely aligns with what our ongoing work has been, what we've hoped to accomplish to strengthen coherence across curriculum instruction and assessment through our work on high-quality instruction and high-quality assessment frameworks. As part of the next phase, the state is encouraging districts to engage in a reflective process to examine our current assessment practices. While participation is optional, we have chosen to engage in the state-supported opportunity because it does align nicely with our existing work and will help us continue to improve. Our district leaders, along with district leaders across the state, will also continue participating in upcoming state-supported learning opportunities, including a follow-up assessment audit webinar in March, and the opportunity to apply for participation in the state-sponsored SCALE initiative, another acronym. SCALE stands for Student-Centered Assessment for Learning. Through SCALE, districts will build capacity to select and use assessments that support teaching and learning, design sensible assessment systems in ways that are responsive to the local context. So basically, in summary, the work represents a natural continuation of what TPS's commitment to building one coherent story of learning for every student, where curriculum, instruction, and assessment function as an integrated system. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the board? Anyone care to weigh in? Well, I'm glad that the legislature has finally acknowledged, let's say, what educators have been telling them for many, many years.
Yeah, the guiding principles, this is just a quick aside. The guiding principles behind all of this, threefold. Every test takes time away from instruction. We're being encouraged to maximize use of information and ensure a clear rationale for what we do with the data. So, thank you.
Thank you. Last call, questions? Thank you very much. We next have liaison reports. They are in the packet. Board members have received them. If any of our building principals would care to add, or Mr. Kisco from his perch at Advance would care to add to their report, now would be the time. Great. Anyone have any discussion related to those? Okay. We next have the monthly financials. Donna, do you want to tell us anything interesting about these?
Well, good evening, everybody. Everybody received their packet that had the end of February monthly financials. We are in great shape for where we are in the fiscal year and where we are in our budget. We're right in line to do very well with our figures. And we did, go over some of the line items. We're really looking at it with a laser focus to be able to really hone in on some of these expenses and make sure that, again, we're going to be in good shape by the end of the fiscal year. Does anybody have any questions regarding the monthly financials? Yes.
Mr. Knight.
This has to do with the monthly financials, but I was curious as to how much in our budget is dedicated to reduced and free breakfast and lunches.
Thank you for that question. So within our general budget, that's focused mostly on operations, and we have a cafeteria budget that is separate from it. So it's pretty much, I could maybe defer to our friend here, the Director of Food Services.
Food Service Department operates under their own budget. Every student receives a free breakfast and a free meal every day, and we get paid a reimbursement rate that is divided by our current percentages of free and reduced students in the district. Right now, we get paid at 91%, right around there, is paid at a free rate, which means we receive $4, just over $4, I think 21 cents maybe, per meal that we serve the students. The other 9% are reimbursed at a very small percentage. We only receive 33% for 9% of the meals sold every day. And that's how we operate. That funds our entire program.
Thank you.
Is that the information you were looking for, Bill? Okay, great. Any other questions related to the monthly financials? I do see, and maybe this was discussed, so I apologize, tuition private has gone pretty far ahead of its budget. I mean, I guess not all of it's been expended, but when you count the encumbrances, I think that's that line. Tuition private, it's 350, 544 past the budgeted amount. Is that just related to special education, or is it something else?
Yes, it's related to student needs and special education.
Okay, great. That's all I had. Thank you very much. No one else had anything. Okay, thanks, Donna. With that, I would hear a motion to approve the monthly financials.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Okay, those are done. We next have our committee reports. See, I do feel that the order has changed, but maybe I'm making it up. But we'll hear from Mr. Kisco.
We always start with school improvement.
Did you used to go last? Am I crazy?
Never, well, maybe once upon a time in the distant past, but not recently. I am, however, still reeling from the shocking news that the way we practice our evaluation is actually detrimental to education. Oh, shocking. Thank you for bringing that up, Mrs. Ferguson. School improvement met beginning of the month. We had gone through FAST Academy and heard a very good report. Having seen good things, we heard a very good report on the FAST Academy, and very happy with the way that is going. Next month, it'll be the high school, which will wrap up our schedule of school visits for the year. And next month, we will be choosing the distinguished alumnus. We have those reports already in front of us, the nomination forms in front of us, and we will talk about those just before the meeting on April Fool's Day. Other than that, I will take questions, but I'm done.
Any questions for Mr. Kisco? Great, thank you, sir. Next up, Facilities and Technology. Mr. Cronin's not here. Mr. Putnam, you were probably at that meeting.
Sure was. Facility and Technology Committee, we had our normal tech update. We discussed the new snow plowing plan for this year. Since we had lost our vendor, we've got a temporary solution in place. Mr. Pergol outlined those costs. We discussed a new proposal, an RFP for landscaping services and some new things we're looking for out there. Talked about the idea of maybe bringing some of the services around the district in-house on some things, but overall that is on tonight's agenda. And that was pretty much about it. Is that correct, Mr. Pergol? Anything else I'm missing? And the capital plan, we had a revision to the capital plan to move some things from GB into capital plan. That was about it.
Yeah, we're also just looking, I don't know if it's now or you do it later, as far as approval of going out to bid with that RFP.
That's a little bit later.
Okay, thank you, sorry about that.
Great. And that RFP is for the snow plowing, I think, right?
Landscaping.
No, landscaping, that's right, landscaping. Okay, great. Any questions related to that matter? If not, Mr. Putnam will continue with the Budget Committee.
The Budget Committee has had a shocking topic over the last month and a half, the 26-27 budget. It's consumed, meaning it's been on our agenda for the last couple of meetings. It's been a hard work. The team's been working very hard, central office and the committee. The community came out on Monday night, which was great to see for our public Q&A. We had some nice food from food services. Thank you very much. It was just an overall, it's been a good budget season, a lot of hard work. We thank everybody on the team, and we'll see it a little bit later on tonight on the agenda.
Any questions related to the Budget Committee's work? I'm sure there'll be plenty more later. So thank you. We next have the Building Committee. Ms. Uclea, I know you've been heavily involved there. Would you want to give a brief update?
Sure. Referencing my heavy. Work started outdoors yesterday. 2 people from the field turf company started working on the field turf. They're hoping for the end of April for completion, but that depends on the weather. The punch list inside is being greatly reduced. If anybody wants to know, I guess you can add to it if you find things. The lift in the auto shop is in place, and the cameras are hooked up in the gym. I guess there's a problem with the gym floor cracking, and there's some movement in it. And O&G is looking into the humidity with MJ Daly and the flooring contractor, asking to possibly explain the movement. And the concession building went out to bid today, expected back with bids by April 6th. And that's about it. Any questions? Any complaints?
So with regard to the gym floor, so what you're saying is O&G is trying to figure out who is responsible so that they can pursue that party, or?
Correct. Humidity might be an issue. They're talking to MJ Daly, but they're also talking to the flooring contractor. It could be that the testing for the floor wasn't what it should have been up to in terms of the content of the water that might still be in the concrete or in the floor itself in the wood. They've got to explain the movement, if they can. I'm not sure they can. So we'll find out.
But regardless of whether it can be explained, it's not going to be the Board of Ed's responsibility, right?
Oh, no, it shouldn't be.
Great. Okay, that's the most.
You didn't ask that.
Well, I'm gonna say that Gary said guaranteed for sure, no matter what. No.
Well, there's never guarantees in construction, but it should never fall on us.
Okay.
Unless, well, I'm not going to even say it.
Okay, and Mr. Wilson's got something to add related to this as well.
Thank you, Mr. Ucalito. I can just add that Mr. Longambuco is, and I'll use the best words that I can, beyond irate and upset at the fact that this is happening. So to Mr. Ucalito's point, he had sent 2 very, very strongly worded emails to O&G, as well as, I believe, some of the contractors were carboned on that because Mr. Pergola and myself were carboned on that. But yes, Mr. Corey, that is not going to fall on the Board of Ed, and Mr. Longambuco is not too happy. So I can only imagine tomorrow night's building committee meeting, there might be some stronger words used, I would assume, but they are not happy with what is happening in the gym.
Thank you. Were you going to add something, Glenn?
Yeah, is it the middle school gym, the high school gym, or both? The high school gym. Did they pour a new pad in there? I don't know if they, I don't think they poured a new pad. I think they surfaced it. But it could be the moisture and whatever they installed in that building. It went through a couple seasons, and there should be moisture test results, but we don't have them. Mario should.
Any other questions or remarks related to the building committee's work? Not, thank you. We next have the Board of Education minutes. As long as there is no objection, I would hear one motion to approve both the Board of Ed's regular meeting minutes from February 25th, 2026, as well as the special meeting minutes from March 9th, 2026.
I have a
Corrections.
question about at least the minutes from the 25th. And I'm looking at page 65 in our packet. Let's see. 65, under item 5, Mr. Berger asked whether 2 separate committees should be created for devices and AI. Mr. Kisko stated that he would not want to separate them, etc. If I said that, I misspoke, but I don't think I said that. I looked for the video and I didn't find it. Maybe I didn't look hard enough, but that was our Zoom meeting. But I certainly would not, those are 2 separate issues, AI and device use. I think everybody agrees that. So if I did say that, I misspoke. I don't agree with that, but
so
I
you would-
don't even think I wouldn't have said it or someone would have noticed it.
Right, so you would just like to have it reflect that Mr. Kisko stated that he would want to separate them. Is that a
Right.
suitable correction?
Right, that'll work, as long as no one's going to object to that, but that.
Okay. As long as there's, oh, Mr. Knight.
Yes, I'm not sure how I want, I would hope that we would vote on the minutes separately, because on the last regular meeting, I wasn't there, so I'll be abstaining, and I don't remember if I was at the March 9th meeting or not.
Okay, then I will call them separately. Any other remarks on this matter, corrections, revisions? If not, I would hear a motion to approve. So were we amending, I'm sorry, John, were we amending February 25th? Is that what we just amended? Yes, okay, so the amended February 25th meeting minutes, if there is such a motion.
So moved.
Second. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Mr. Knight abstains, and those are approved. We next have the special meeting minutes from March the 9th. I will hear a motion on those if there is one. Is there a second? Okay, any discussion, additional corrections, etc.? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that was an abstention by Mr. Knight. We next will receive the subcommittee meeting minutes. Again, provided there is no objection, I would hear a motion on all of the following. It would be the facilities and technology and budget meetings on February the 18th, 26, school improvement on February the 4th of 26, and the building committee on February the 19th of 26. Any discussion, revisions, corrections? No, I would hear a motion on those. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Those are approved. We next will receive the consent agenda of appointments, retirements, and resignations. Just as always, the reminder is because this is a consent agenda, the only discussion item would be to remove an item from it. Is there a motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, sorry, excuse me, I need a motion. I'm losing it up here. Is there a second? Okay, now, was there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That's done. We next have new information in action. I would love to learn the chess field trip to Spain for 2028. I assume that's Ms. Sullivan.
Yes, Aaron's going to come up.
Students to the Global Village. There we go. We have planned a trip to Spain in 2028, and that would be a 9-day trip that covers Barcelona and Madrid and visits both historical sites, cultural sites, and literary sites while we are there. Are there any questions?
I assume you're going to be doing a lot of fundraising between now and then.
We will continue to do fundraisers, yes.
Any?
Thank you for everybody who purchased Munson's.
Anything else from the board? Great. Thank you. I will hear a motion to approve this field trip if there is one. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. That is approved. Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. We next have line item transfers. Is that who's going to start us off on this side? Okay, take it away, Della.
Okay, so everybody has the line item transfers in front of them. They were a conservative look at where we are within the school year and what our needs will be for the continuation of the school year. And our cabinet felt very comfortable with these amounts. So there were some lines that were over, there were some lines that had funds, but could be utilized additional funds on those lines. Does anybody have any questions regarding the line item transfers?
Mr. Putnam, you go ahead. I have some, but I'll wait.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to touch on the first one. It's general maintenance to landscaping in the amount of $50,000. Is that because we're about to put this out to bid and we're just anticipating that there will be an increased expense when the bids come back?
Currently, the landscaping line item is under, so this is just sort of a stopgap just to get us to zero, and then we will probably be relooking at the budget and coming back for more line item transfers as the year goes on.
Okay, what drove that under? Because we were under contract until November with Jesperson at a fixed rate. I know he does provide some per diem services, so
Sure.
Just could you tell us a little bit why that's under?
Sure. I will hand it on over to Mr. Pergola, and he'll give you a couple more details.
So we ended up doing quite a bit more landscaping around, especially this building, to kind of tie into the new construction where it was kind of that gray area. We ended up adding some stuff there, and we went a little deeper with some line painting on all our schools got line painted this year, which happens every 3 or 4 years. So there was quite a bit of work this summer we spent more money on.
Okay, great, thank you. And then the only other one, I think I'm definitely fine with the $1,100 for library books, but I just wanted to ask about instructional supplies, from tech services to instructional supplies. What are we buying for $115,000?
So the way that I typically utilize this line is for anything that would benefit the students in the classrooms, or benefit their devices that they use in the classrooms for instruction, whether that be mice, keyboards, cases, things of that sort, which we do need.
So you're just anticipating spending less on services and looking to just bump up the supplies? Okay, great.
Correct.
That's all I had. Mr. Putnam, did you still have stuff or did I hit it? Okay, anyone else?
Sorry. I just wanted to update everyone on a line item for that large amount of $1,100. The line item should read 5,100, 6, and then 33. 33 is the media services. So I just wanted to, I'm sorry to cut anyone off. I just wanted to get that in there. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary, were you gonna?
Yeah, the instructional supplies. I mean, we have people here that are concerned about tech, as we found out tonight. Can you explain it further what the instructional supplies are? And can we find a way not to spend as much on tech-related and more on things that children can use in the classroom rather than be on the screens? Because I'm sure that's going to be an upcoming discussion as we go along.
Yeah, well, especially at the higher levels right now, so middle school, high school, a lot of the learning is done through Google Classroom, as well as all of the testing that is done on their devices. So we provide headphones for the students. Certain students need keyboards, mice, et cetera, like I mentioned. And then this was also kind of a transition year at TIS for sixth graders with the CART model. But we found that there were some instances where they needed to bring their device home for projects or things of that sort. So having cases on those devices would help prevent any damage to them so that we can continue to use them in the classroom.
I gotta be honest, I'm pro cart model for what that's worth. I think as part of the discussion, but I'm also pro cases because we spend a lot of money fixing these things, so.
Agreed on both.
I understand where we're going there. Did anyone else have anything that they wanted to remark on related to the line item transfers? Okay, hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to approve the requested line item transfers as amended by Ms. Labby's remark to just correct that line item? Is there a second? Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, those are approved. We next have the grounds maintenance specifications. Mr. Picola, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so what you have in front of you is specifications that was put together. So we're looking for, to go out to bid as soon as possible. Our lawyers also have that in front of them. I spoke to them today. He is going to just be working on the back end of our bid paperwork. So with some small adjustments to probably the specifications that you have in front of them and updated back end or front end of the bid specifications is what we're looking to get approved.
Thank you. Any discussion from members of the board on this? This isn't a today thing, but just while we're on the topic, for what it's worth, in the same vein as our many previous discussions about bringing other services in-house, when we're done with budget season and you've got maybe a couple extra minutes on your hands, I'd love to just think about what it would take, people and dollar-wise, to bring some of these services in-house in the future. I think anytime we can do our own work with our own people, I think it's better for everybody, right? But maybe I'm wrong, and so that's kind of why we would want to see the numbers. But again, that's a future thing. That's not I don't need that right now.
Thanks.
Okay, I would hear a motion to, let's see, you're seeing authorization, you're seeing the approval of this and the authorization to send it out as an RFP, is that right? Okay, is there such a motion? Is there a second? Oh.
Turf maintenance, under section 4.2.2. This component includes a comprehensive care of the natural gas outfields and surrounding of the TIS baseball and softball fields. They're turf. Oh, TIS, my bad, I'm an idiot. All right, fine.
Okay. Well, I don't know if that's true, but was that that's not the sum total. Okay.
So all the turf maintenance is gonna be a separate number. Is that how I'm reading this correctly?
Yeah, and I spoke to, again, our lawyer today, who's going to clean that up a little bit, especially the last page on what we're expecting for numbers and how they're going to come in. But the turf maintenance will be a separate number. We're going to allow contractors to bid all or individually with a lump sum discount if they wanted to. So I think we got it covered where we can look at it many ways, including probably grouping not our intermediate schools, but grouping 50 Major Bessie Drive and TIS together and grouping the other schools together because they're smaller, that maybe we can get different looks. So I think we got a lot of options. I only fear that it may be too many options sometimes where, sometimes that's why that discounted lump sum I think is important, that maybe that could be worked to our advantage.
Yep. No, for what it's worth, I think it's as much as it creates extra work for you. I mean, I think it's a creative approach to trying to find a good deal and maybe be able to give some of these, projects and contracts to smaller companies that are hungry for work and looking to grow with us. So there was a motion being made by Mr. Knight. I presume that he would like that to carry forward and that we are just looking for a second. Is there a second to approve this? Anyone? Someone, please. Thank you. Any discussion further on this matter? If not, all those in favor? Oh, yes.
One quick question. We had talked about it in the facility meeting about the possibility that the bid spec reads that the contractor would have to provide the tool for the field, for the actual turf field. I didn't notice that it had changed. Are we going to have somebody provide that every 3 years? So if we change vendors, they have to buy a new one, or are we going to buy that ourselves and have it in-house for any kind of touch-up or anything we needed to do if we own the device?
I did not change it. I thought we were I didn't know we should have changed it. I mean, I could, it's a very simple change that we can say that, but we have to, also expect to, have a lump sum, purchase of this piece of equipment. So if I missed that, that's on me, Jeff. I wasn't sure if we came to that solution at the end.
I don't know that we came to the solution, Mr. Brewer. I think it was talked about in that the fear might be that if you have to buy I think somebody said it was about $20,000 to have the one with the magnet and everything to take care of the fields, that if it changed vendors every couple of years, we might end up kind of paying for that device over and over again versus having it in-house. I mean, you guys do this every day. I don't remember what we actually came to the decision on, but maybe Mr. Berger will remember.
So hang on, what are we talking about? Are we talking about?
So to, let me explain it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so to maintain the turf, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can buy individual pieces of equipment. You can buy one piece of equipment. The piece of equipment that we have right now for the old turf has extended its life. It costs us some money right now to repair it. We own it. And it's not really, I don't want to say fit for the job, but there's much better equipment out there right now. So I included that in the burden on the contractor instead of us purchasing it. And that's what he's asking. Is it worth us purchasing it, maintaining it, storing it, instead of them, where we would buy it once, with the fear that in 3 years from now, the same contractor wouldn't win the bid, and we'd have to be included in the next round 3 years from now on buying another piece of equipment.
Okay, now I see. I mean,
You understand that?
yeah, I think it's fine as it is in the sense that if the contractor doesn't already own the equipment and they're going to bid this bulking up the price by 20 grand because they're going to have to buy it to bring, it will reflect in the total cost of their bid and perhaps push them ahead of a lower bidder who already owns the equipment. So, I don't see a need necessarily to amend the proposed RFP because that sort of thing will reflect in the prices that the bidders bring forward, because nobody's going to buy a piece of equipment to use for a government contract and not charge it to the government. So if they have to buy it, it'll show in their bid price, and if they already have it, we'll get a lower bid price.
We could ask them to include in their price them leaving the tool if they don't win the next bid. I mean, it wouldn't be, we could ask that be part of the bid, but I'm not familiar with the equipment. So.
The only thing, and again, yes, we could, and it's a good approach. The only thing is, I don't know, again, this is a more advanced machine, and once you get more advanced, after 3 years of 6.5 acres, I'm sorry, not miles, 6.5 acres of turf maintenance, don't know what it would take to repair and keep this thing running for another 3 years. There's a lot of moving parts. There's weather, there's sacrificial parts that, will have to be replaced. So I don't know.
I don't know anything about it. I just was thinking of that.
Well,
I know. Go ahead and say it.
Very easy just to change that. It's in our lawyer's hands if we want to put something in there to say that, to leave it when they're done with it, I guess.
I don't know, I feel like a lot of places would charge contractors a storage fee to store their heavy equipment. And I don't know that I would want to give that away for free either. I mean, look, my take is that I'm content with this as it's presented, but it's at the pleasure of the board if you would all care care to amend it? There is a motion, so you'd have to make a motion to amend it, but if not, any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so we're good to go with this one. Thank you. I should clarify that obviously, as Mr. Pergola mentioned, it's in the hands of the board's attorneys, and if they need to adjust this to ensure that it's compliant for legal reasons with the charter or state law, that would, of course, happen by necessity as part of this motion. We next have the DRIP grant.
Okay, well, everybody received the certification letter in their packet. Torrington is going to be receiving approximately $288,000, and that is to do a project that we have identified as the chiller at Torringford. So this money will help to offset some of the requests for our capital reserve that we had originally had slated for 477. So out of that 477 that we had asked to use from our 313 capital reserve fund, we are going to be able to put 258,000 towards it and some change.
Great. Have we, this is the grant certification, so we're accepting this grant. Yes. Have we identified a potential project for the rest of the money?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Just because, this money was the subject of much discussion with our friends in City Hall over how much we could commit to the roof project and why it was so important that we not commit this 400 something. So, and it is in their capital reserve. So I guess it's really going to be, the board's, I would say, responsibility, though that might be a harsh term, just to reopen that discussion with the city. So that I think we don't want them to think that we misled them on what we were going to do with this money. I don't think we were anticipating receiving the DRIP grant at that time. So we just have to kind of reopen that discussion with them. But it may be helpful as we go through the budget process to identify a project or two so that we have an alternative proposal, right? We might be interested in using this for the roof, but also maybe here are some other things we can do. So it would be helpful to have.
Thank you.
Any questions or discussion?
Could you just refresh my memory? Where are we with the whole roof bid? I forget the process or where our hangups were.
It's after referendum. So we're waiting for the referendum results next week.
Next week.
Tuesday.
Oh, no, we had some steps on our side that we had to do. Was part of it the grant?
Yeah, so once we get local approval for the allocation, then we'll be able to go back to the state and just fill out one form to just say the reason why we needed the increase. And then we wait for the state to come back, approve it, and then we can go out to bid.
Grant bid, in pretty much in that order?
Correct.
Okay, and it has to be in that order?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they need to see that the municipality has the funds committed. So we have to wait for the voters to hopefully approve the bond issue. Any further discussion, questions, et cetera, on this DRIP grant? Thank you for your work on getting this. I will hear a motion to authorize the superintendent to certify the grant.
So moved.
Okay, seconded by John. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The grant is approved. We next have a brief discussion on June 19th. Mr. Wilson, you want to take that one?
Thank you. So for June 19th, obviously with all of the snow days, we are in school this year for June 19th. And working with Assistant Superintendent Ferguson and the Office of Teaching and Learning, we would like to suggest to the board to offer it as a half day for staff and students, where there will be educational activities around the importance of June 19th, so that our students are coming in and learning more about Juneteenth. And that is our request this evening, and Assistant Superintendent Ferguson can answer any questions as to some of the activities, but that is our request of the board because that would be a calendar change. Next month, hopefully, we should have the finalized calendar as to when the last official day would be. It is right now June 23rd, but Hopefully, between now and then, Mother Nature is kind to us, so at that meeting, I can propose the full calendar year end to the board, but as it stands now, we will be in school for June 19th, so the request of the board at this meeting, so that we can get things underway for planning purposes, would be a half day for students and staff that day.
Great. And just in case someone else had the same thought that I did when discussing putting this on the agenda, I did ask the superintendent to double check that this is not a paid holiday for any of our bargaining units, and it is not. So we're not going to run into that issue where we're telling people they have to come to work and they're saying, well, no, you promised me this day off. So we did cover that. Are there any questions, remarks? Garrett, were you gonna, okay.
Just one, and I just saw this, but do we not discuss that as part of the curriculum, Juneteenth, or no? Just curious.
We're usually not in on this day, right?
No, I understand, but in terms of learning more about it, it's not something we do discuss?
Yes, it is, all of these days are part of the curriculum. However, this will be the first time since the day was made a holiday that students would be in session. So we would do something extra special, similar to what we've done for Veterans Day, since the board decided to have that be a school day. So we would treat it that way. The reason for the request for the early release is that the city plans some special events around the significance of June 19th. So we'd like to be able to release students to perhaps participate in some of those events at the city if their families choose to do that.
Anyone else? Okay, I would hear a motion to approve the proposed half-day and associated programming for June 19th. Is there a second? Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Mr. Berger votes no. Any abstentions? Okay, so that is done. We next have a discussion of the 26-27 capital budget submission. Do you want to start that, or do you want to punt it? All right, Donna, you're up.
Okay, so everybody did receive a copy of the potential cuts. We're just noticing, should we talk about the capital 26-27 first, or jump into this? Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead.
I had to make some adjustments. I had some typos in the last one, so that was fixed. And well, I guess now if you just asked to move something over, I guess we would adjust it to move that into capital for this year. To, I guess, offset the grant we're getting.
Okay, so we're looking for, wait, this doesn't have the right, oh yeah, 26-27. So in total, it's $2,063,750 worth of projects, anticipating a reimbursement of what, between 1.2 and 1.6 million?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you put those numbers there as brackets. You're not using one or the other, right? This, I'm looking at the last page, the 1.2 million, the 1.6, that's like the most and least potential reimbursement as a bracket, okay. What did we derive the 847,000 from? Did we use the 1.2 or the 1.6 million?
So the 74% is what will be reimbursed. The 1.6 is off of the, you're right.
Oh, you're just saying that's the amount
That's
that
all.
is eligible?
That's all, yeah.
That's
yeah,
what it is?
yeah.
Okay.
Probably more information than needed, but I plugged it in both ways.
No, it's good, it's useful, I just misread it, so that's my fault, not yours.
Yep.
Okay, anyone have any discussion? I see some discussion happening So we'll give it a second and see if anyone wants to add anything, have any questions. He's still looking.
I'll ask you.
Oh, yeah, okay, go ahead.
For the Torrington Intermediate School, from our public speaker today, I don't know why we're only going outside one day a week, that's a different topic, but can we at least put a placeholder in here for a playground? Gym equipment, whatever we want, at some point, at least get it on the agenda. I mean, she brings up valid points. And to grossly ignore it, at least get it in there. Obviously, if it's not 26, 27, maybe put some type of placeholder for 27, 28.
Sure.
I agree with you.
Yeah, sorry, just the context that you weren't at the public hearing on Monday, but this issue came up there, and Mr. Pergola did at that meeting commit to getting a quote for possible price
Yeah,
options.
it's in works. In other words, we had Utiliplay, who's one of our vendors out there, and came up, we have a couple of designs.
Yeah.
Ready to roll, not putting in the capitals. Nowhere in capital is it in here. She's.
That's my point. I'm saying,
Right.
can we plot
Gotcha.
whatever your estimate it is right now in the capital? I mean, I don't know, you guys can poo-poo it down, but I think if we put a placeholder in here now, it's not gonna hurt anything.
I would love to consider maybe proposing that project, because I know you said you need a little time to get the quotes, but I would love to consider doing that project with the money that may now be left in the capital reserve as a result of the DRIP grant, right? So it's money we didn't expect to have, that would be more than enough, right? I mean, we're not thinking that this project would cost $260,000, I hope.
Well, they give you options.
Right.
And the price reflects the options. You have the numbers? Do you remember the numbers?
Yeah, I think you were almost spot on. It was like 194, so it was right below 200,000 for a pretty comprehensive layout that I received from Altiplay through Mr. Klein and Mr. Percola.
Because that way we don't have to worry about placeholder numbers in this capital plan because we don't have the quotes, and we can continue with the sort of urgent priorities in there, but also give play to the idea that we want to do this project would be my thought, but let's see what other folks think.
I would agree with you.
Are there other cheaper options that the kids can still go outside daily rather than a playscape? They might be getting a little too old for an actual playscape in Torrington Intermediate School.
Well, they design these per age. They do design them for whatever age group that we're going at, and we went, for 4, 5, and 6. But I mean, there's, a couple acres of fields there, and there's a playground, and there's basketball hoops, and there's things of that nature that are there right now. So, to your point, that there are activities, but and you could scale it down, right? That was on the higher end.
Yes, yep, there were multiple options, kind of like a menu, so that could be done.
The only other thing I'm going to add is our, and it was in our 313 fund, which obviously because of the roof, we lost some of that money. The Vogel elevator is in dire need. And when you first mentioned that to me, Mr. Corey, the first thing that came to my mind was the elevator at Vogel. So again, we'll put it wherever you guys want to put it, but just want to put that out there.
It may make sense to put the Vogel elevator in this plan, because this is a pitch, right? I mean, this isn't, we're not the ones who fund this, but, because we did have to make changes to what we wanted to spend the capital reserve out of, if there's a project that was in the capital reserve that we think was urgent, but maybe less urgent by a little than the roof, we could put it in here. I mean, it's the board's pleasure, but it would make sense to me to say, hey, we gave over this money for the roof project because you asked us to, but here are some of the important things that we still need funded. Do you have it, as long as you have an amount for that you could slot in here already, right? You have a dollar
Well, again,
amount.
I have an estimated amount of 200,000 for the elevator.
So I would be content to add that into the capital plan for whichever year you think would be prudent. Because, like I said, this is an aspirational document, but we should be putting stuff that we need in it. What's the board's thought? Oh, we did put it in. Where is it? I didn't notice. ADA, replace seating. Oh, it's the last one. Okay, I missed it. Great.
Ed?
Yeah.
You know, I agree with Glenn. You know, we can't ignore what's going on with our children, and it's a growing movement, whether we want to look at it or not, or accept it. I mean, kids need to be outside. You know, I have 5 boys. Kids need to be outside more. And to Ms. Saleo's suggestion, Dean, is it possible to come up with a plan that takes a look at what we have right now and what we could spend to supplement that, to satisfy whatever we think the kids could use safely and get active on, rather than maybe spend 200 on and I don't know what we'll spend, but on a playground, just try to incorporate more into what we have there now, like you said, basketball and other things, you know. It might be easier for us to do that and spend less. Maybe, but I do think we should put some money aside.
It's kind of like twofold, Gary, though. It's something that's off the agenda right now, but the main problem is, where's the time? We spoke about this ad nauseum last year about getting more gym time. And if they're only going outside 1 day a week, that's a scheduling problem, which we're not really purview to here tonight. The other thing is, you know, if the playground is warranted, just let's put a placeholder in there and.
No, I agree. But maybe we can
First
do,
order of business should be scheduling and getting the kids outside more, obviously, but.
We also have a grant that Donna's looking at as far as, you know, it's a nationwide grant. She could talk to more about it, but I gotta kind of throw this out there. You know, it's still winter. And playscape or not, the fields, the yards are just starting to be like playable. So I can't imagine another, let's just say we have nice warm weather for the next 2 weeks, that these kids can't be out in the, again, I don't know how many acres, I should know how many acres of grass we have out there with other activities that they could be doing playground stuff, whether you have a playscape or not. I mean, that's just my point, I guess my opinion.
I got one more thing, Gary. So there was something, there's all this other playground stuff around, spread out.
Yeah, that's.
Is it just like adult oriented?
Yeah,
and not for kids?
that's no way for these kids, not even close. Yeah, they try to use it, right? I mean, but I don't think, I think middle school kids had difficulty using some of the stuff. It's pretty high level activity, also out of reach. So there's nowhere that these children can play on that stuff. In my opinion, I didn't get the specifications on it, but I tried it and it was difficult.
If you can't reach it, I'm not
Right,
reaching it.
exactly.
It wasn't that funny.
I think I can maybe help answer part of the question, and Principal Klein can definitely jump in. I want to just clear up maybe some confusion that the board may have, and, you know, Mr. Klein and the admin team at the intermediate school do have recess built in. There are certain reasons that recess outside could not take place, as Mr. Pergola had shared, but obviously Mr. Klein could speak about it. I think the question in front of the board, and I think Mr. Corey's suggestion, I'm certainly not speaking for you, is if we wanted to dog ear that money, up to $200,000, because in light of the DRIP grant, so that Mr. Pergola can work with the company to go and get a playscape that would be adequate for students in grades 4 to 6. I think that is an appropriate suggestion, and I think that's something that we can entertain. And to Mr. Corey's point, it does not change the actual capital, that the document in front of you. I think that keeps it very clean. But just for conversational clear up, and I certainly don't want to speak for Principal Klein, but I do know that he and the admin team, and Ms. Sterling is here as well, do have recess built in for the students. So, Mr. Klein?
Thank you, and thank you, board, for allowing me to come down and kind of talk and clarify some points here. So all of our students get recess daily. Our 4th grade has 2 different waves and options in terms of what happens throughout the course of our recess piece. We utilize the bus loop. We utilize what is referred to as the pool area, which is where we've been housing a lot of the basketball hoops as well. During these winter days, as Mr. Pergola talked about, the field is a muddy, snowy mess, and sending kids out there is probably not in the best interest of all. However, what we've been doing is we've been, for grades 4 and 5, also using the gym and the aux gym at all times. So kids are always getting a movement break. Do they leave outside at all times? No, I don't have the physical actual concrete pavement to be able to put them out there. However, they're going in the gym, they're playing basketball, they're playing kickball, they're playing dodgeball, they're playing volleyball. They are getting out there and they're getting active. To Mr. Eucalito's point, do I want fresh air? I do. I would like to see kids outside and engaging in those pieces, but we have a rotational basis. So when those 70-degree days hit, unfortunately, we did have a little bit of muck and mud out there that we were trying to avoid. But we do have plans. We have plans to get all of our kids active and engaged. We want to make sure that we're holding true to that piece of it. I know that Mr. Pergola and I met with the Jalpert individual about 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. They had some interesting ideas and some proposals. I know some of our parent team is very passionate about providing a physical playground equipment. To Mr. Eucalito's point, outside we've got the Gaga pits, we've got basketball, we've got all the fields, we've got soccer going on, we've got some footballs going on. We also invested in things like disc golf. Right before winter hit, Miss Ferguson was able to find us some grant money and opportunities to be able to even update some of our equipment that we haven't even really been able to roll out yet just because of where the weather is. But to me, getting kids outside, getting kids active, that's everybody's goal. And that's what we want to make sure happens. But I just want to come up here and clarify that our kids are getting daily recess outside. Sixth grade gets a little bit tricky just based upon a little bit of the rotations. They're not going out as frequently just because of some of their size pieces, but we still want to get them out. We want to get them moving. And as soon as everything dries up and clears up and we can get them out on the field, we're going to do that because we know that when they're out there, a lot of their behaviors, then they're a little bit more focused in the classroom. So we get that. So sorry about that.
Yeah, and if I say one thing, that's what I was getting at in terms of an overall plan, because the fields are wet half the year, and that's all. That was all wetlands before. They filled it, so that's what I meant, Dean. If we could come up with a plan where, if it is wet in the fields, there's another activity that they can go outside for.
While he's sitting there, does anyone have any recess schedule related questions for Mr. Klein? Okay, thank you. So it sounds like we've heard a little bit about the scheduling piece. I want to take us back home to our agenda item. So my thought, instead of adding an aspirational number to a capital plan that is surely not going to be funded entirely as is, I would say one way to get this done would be to prioritize using funds in the capital reserve that will now no longer be earmarked for the chiller. We would have to propose this, of course, to the city, but I think it's something that anybody can be convinced to get behind. I like to think that recess for kids is not particularly controversial, but there is a certain risk to placing this before the city in that medium instead of in the capital plan. But frankly, in either case, there's a risk of us not being able to fund it. So my thought would be to put it in the capital reserve and pitch it to the city, but it's the board's pleasure. So if folks want to amend this capital plan to add a $200 aspirational placeholder for playground equipment at the intermediate school, we certainly can. It's our capital plan. You guys have to decide.
Approximately how many kids can use the proposed $200,000 installation at a time? I'm not sure how many kids go out at once at the intermediate school, but if you have, say, 250 kids going out at once and the $200,000 can only help 25 kids at a time, maybe there's some creative ways to create outdoor spaces that are more useful for large groups of kids. Just a thought. I mean, I'm not opposed to a playground, of course, but just trying to find, if we're going to spend $200,000, how can we impact the physical fitness of the most number of kids at once? I'm not sure how many are out at once, though.
So, I mean, look, an option where a third of the recess wave could be utilizing it at any given moment seems reasonable to me, as a long-term investment, right? We're not talking about $200,000 a year added to our budget. We're talking about a long-term investment in the recreational activities for our kids and people in the community, right? Because like all of our facilities, after school, people who live in the area will use it. Which is, a good thing for the community in and of itself, I think, even if sometimes the teenagers damage the swing sets.
Is that something, I mean, is this something that you'd be able to utilize? It's your building. I mean, we're here to advocate for you if you want something.
Great. So I think are we at a point where we're all comfortable supporting the idea? And then the next question, if so, would be, does the board want to add a $200,000 number to this capital plan, or would the board like instead for us to go forward once we get proposals to put it in the capital reserve? Were you going to add something, Dean? I wasn't sure if your hand was up to add something or not. Oh, okay. So those are really the choices in front of us, is what we want, how we want to approach asking for the money. So if nobody is going to say, yes, let's add $200,000 to this, I would instead seek a motion to approve it as is, and then we'll go ahead and go the alternative route of seeking the funds from the capital reserve.
So I'll go with that one. Whatever's the path of least resistance at this point.
Okay, is there a second? So what Glenn has done is moved that we adopt this capital plan as it's presented to us, with the knowledge that we would seek capital reserve funds for playground equipment. Okay, so it's been made and seconded. Is there further discussion on the question before us?
Is there a reason it can't go in both places in case the city doesn't? If you put it in the capital plan, we don't, any of these projects that would come forward to use up the extra reserve would come out of this capital list anyways, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not strictly prohibited, although we've gone pretty far out of our way to make sure that we're not asking for things in two places throughout this budget season, so I would like to stay consistent with that.
I was merely suggesting that if we had the extra funds and the city approved the use of reserve, we would be logical to pull a project from our existing 5-year plan, that's all.
Great. Any further discussion on the question before us? Hearing none, all those in favor of this capital plan, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Capital plan is adopted. Oh boy, now we have budget 26, 27. It's very rare, I think, that we do these in the exact same meeting. They both take a long time. Who wants to start us off on this side? Take it away.
Okay, now it's my turn. Okay, so we had well, it didn't make the packet because it was the 11th hour. We did make these decisions Monday, so the turnaround was pretty quick, but you should have in front of you, and they were sent out electronically, I think, outside of the packet. So in front of you, you would see our recommendations for further cuts and a couple additions, which net out to $125,429 in reductions, bringing us to 4.98% request from the city. And if you want to take it from the top quickly, the dues and memberships, we were able to find some savings there, and that was in the amount of $18,820. Instructional supplies, we were able to find savings there as well in $140,000. And then on the bottom of the page, you'll see the increases. There was a request by the board to increase the athletic trainer salary by $11,000. The turf maintenance, as we all know, we're going to have more turfs online, so we needed to add additional funding there for $21,000. And stipends, there was a proposal for stipends to be added as well at the elementary level and for the Junior National Honor Society. So those totals were $33,391, but it all nets out, like I said, to about $125,000 in reductions. And on the bottom of the page, you can see the path that the budget has taken as far as reductions and the percentage that we're asking for. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you for the top line. I may have missed it. I apologize. I was asking the superintendent a sidebar question. So this is entirely my fault, but the dues and membership, are we like cutting our memberships in any organizations, or do we just save money because they decided to be less expensive?
The latter. And we've found some economies of savings through combining certain memberships. So I thank the board, Ms. Leo, for asking that question, board members who came forward to have us dig a little deeper there. So that was worth doing.
Great. Thank you. That's all I had for the top line view. Do other folks want to ask questions, raise topics? I know we left a couple things outstanding at the meeting.
Sure. The couple things, where's the athletic trainer, which I see you guys have taken care of. Ms. Schulte, 60,000 seems to be the average you found in your research?
Yes, so I pulled several sites and just got some average salaries. I looked at ONET, which is the occupational site that is kind of funded by the federal government, and they have the average salary listed at 67,000, but that is for a 12-month position, not a 10-month position. So if you average that out, that comes to about 56,000 is what it would be. And then salary.com had an average salary in Connecticut for 56,000. ZipRecruiter was 51,000, but the range in total is anywhere from 49,000 to 76,000 in Connecticut. So we kind of looked at it and thought 60,000 would make us competitive because it would be a little more than what the average salary is, but it would still put us in the middle of what the total range is. So that's kind of what the superintendent and I kind of discussed, but we can certainly entertain something different if the board wants to based on that information I just shared.
Not knowing how your employment process works, but if somebody shows up with 3 years of experience, that may command the 59,000. But if somebody shows up with 9 years experience who's expecting to be paid more, how do we handle that when we're looking to hire people? Is the 60,000 the max, or do we have some flexibility if somebody shows up who's, great, they're a Torrington native, they've been here forever, they've got 10 years of experience, and they may be worth more than is allowed in the budget?
We absolutely have flexibility because it's a non-union position. So if someone came in and, so if we budgeted 60,000 and someone came in and said they were currently making 62 and couldn't possibly take it for less than that, I would review that with the superintendent, and we would certainly make kind of a decision on the spot at that point. But we definitely have some flexibility because it's non-union. We're not bound by the collective bargaining agreement based on hiring a new.
Great, thank you very much. I think it's good to have the opportunity to get somebody with some experience. A lot of kids out there after hours, want to make sure we've got somebody good to take care of them.
With that said, are we putting a minimum, are we setting a bar for as far as the minimum number of years' experience we want for our athletic trainer?
I don't think we've said that they have to have experience, because I think we have considered candidates who were newly qualified in the athletic trainer space. So I don't think we've said that they have to have experience, but certainly, we would consider applicants in all of those spaces, especially once we increase the salary. I think we'll see our applicant pool increase, and then we can consider the candidates just like we would for a teaching position, where we look at new graduates, but we also look at experienced, and we would do an interview and select the best candidate.
Teachers have coaches and everything here. The athletic trainer, if they were in the Torrington Board of Education, they're basically alone.
Well, the good news
They're on
is-
their own. So I don't know if like having a rookie athletic trainer taking care of varsity sports and everything with zero experience in a school system is really a good idea. I don't know if we should put some minimum years experience in a K through 12 setting or not. I mean,
We certainly can do that. I just wouldn't want to limit us to only that. I would want to be, but the good news is we have this new athletic director position that we've now made full-time, that we will hopefully be able to provide more supports for this position and for the other positions. But I would agree that we can certainly say that there's a minimum number of years of experience preferred. I just wouldn't want to box us into that in case we find a phenomenal candidate who's a Torrington grad who might be exceptional in the role. So that would be my recommendation, but certainly whatever the board wants.
Okay, what else did we, thank you, what else did we leave outstanding? We had some discussions about two of the positions, I think.
Yes.
One was the .5 PE teacher. I want to start with that one because that was less controversial. With the changeover to a full-time administrative athletic director, there was just some discussion about whether it would be helpful. I want to preface this by saying I understand that the answer is, even with the 0.5 elimination, there would be no class section elimination, so I don't want to suggest that that is the case. But would it be useful, beneficial, helpful to convert that 0.5 into a 1.0, a teacher who's still teaching full-time to maybe add sections or opportunities, or is that not really something that can be accommodated, was one of the things that we left outstanding.
Sure, so I did speak with Mr. Scott, and I do have the information, and you can correct me if I get anything wrong, Mr. Scott. But what the 0.5 cut would result is there would be, that person's currently teaching 3 sections, so there would be 3 fewer electives per semester that would be offered, and they could either be combined, so that if there was 2 sections of something being offered, there would only be 1 section of that elective being offered, or in some cases where there might only have been 1 section of that elective being offered, they would have to kind of transition where they might offer certain electives every other year, which they do with some of the electives that they have right now. Did I get that right?
And what are those is this like health classes, PE classes?
So the ones that were mentioned as the electives would be sports medicine, UConn Health, UConn Medical. Those are the ones that we discussed.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but we discussed that to restore that to a 1.0 position, it would cost we would add an extra 25,000 or so to the budget.
It would be, yeah, so it would be, well, we would really budget 57,000, right? Because when we first did the proposed budget, it was based on an individual who was still here, but now that person has put their retirement in. So we would budget we would add 57,000 to the current budget the way it looks right now, because that's currently usually the salary we use when we add a position. So we do the level 2, step 5 is what we kind of anticipate as the placeholder. So it would be 57,000 that we would have to add to the budget to be able to restore it to a 1.0.
Okay, and then just my last question on this, and then I want to discuss the issue with the board for its pleasure, is I just don't have it in front of me, what did we anticipate as a savings by the elimination of that 0.5? Was it about 30? Was it more, was it less?
It was more because, again, when we had
It was more,
budgeted
right,
the
'cause the
position, it
individual
was
was higher.
based on the person that was still here.
So we anticipated, was it 40?
It was actually like 70.
70, okay, so we anticipated a $70,000 savings from the 0.5 elimination.
Yes.
And so instead of that, we would be looking to add 57 back to the budget. So it would be a savings just by virtue of the retirement of 13,000 to just maintain the extant position. Because this individual, right, they were teaching half the time, and then they were doing stipend work as the athletic director half the time. So what we're really talking about is, instead of eliminating their teaching job in favor of an administrative position, we would instead create the administrative position still and maintain that individual's teaching job. But instead of only teaching half the time, because now that individual in this teaching job is no longer a stipended athletic director, they are teaching a full course load. So it's, I hope that makes sense for what we're actually talking about, and the expense to the budget as it's presented, right? So we would add to this 78,722, no, sorry, to this 82,639,936, we'd add another approximately $57,000. I would be in favor of that, but I'm open to discussion.
So the question I would have for the administrative team is, if we add this position back, which I am in support of, can we make that work scheduling? Can we get kids with more PE? I mean, that's, Mr. Euclid has been pushing for a long time on, adding PE back and getting kids moving more. We've been talking about moving at the intermediate school tonight, but can we actually make that work scheduling wise, or does that present a problem for next year?
I mean, and Mr. Scott, you can feel free to come up, but I think I can start the answer. I think that, contingent upon when we would get our final number, I think that the position being eliminated and Ms. Schulte's conversation this evening after speaking with Principal Scott in determining how they would make it work with the elimination of 0.5, if we were to add 1.0 back in, obviously, I think any principal in the room would love the opportunity to have an additional staff member, and I think Mr. Scott, Mr. Marchand would as well, but I think, you know, from a high school scheduling standpoint, those schedules are going to start pretty soon. And then if we were to not get the money after students were to be billeted for those classrooms, I think that could cause a problem. But I would certainly defer to you, Mr. Scott. But I think if that's the question that the board is asking, I think everyone would love to have an additional staff member. But I think the way Ms. Schulte had answered the question after speaking with Principal Scott, I think having an additional person would be great. But then if we were not able to offer those classes to those students, that would be to the detriment of the schedule and to the students. But if I miss something, by all means.
But this would happen in any budget year, what you're describing, is as we have to unfortunately eliminate positions. So I guess my question is, would the potential positive of having this full-time teaching position restored outweigh the benefit, or outweigh the negative of maybe having to adjust the schedule in a couple of months? I mean, I don't know the workload required. But, you know, from my perspective here, great. Yeah, just from my perspective here, it would be beneficial to aim for having that teacher, but you tell me. Great. Now I've monopolized your time. Do other board members want to talk about this, Gary?
I wouldn't go with anything that reduced the amount of, our inability to add more PE. I think it's embarrassing that our kids don't have the PE that everybody in this room had when they were in school. I don't understand it. You know, I don't know. What do we have now for 4 years? How often do the kids have PE? Of all 4 years. Right. I would want to keeping. Okay, I would not want it. I want the full, but.
Okay, I mean, since there's no motion on the table before us, it wouldn't be a formal amendment, but I'm happy to just straw poll. Unless people want to ask more questions, I'm happy to straw poll. Oh yeah, go ahead, take it away first.
I have a question and a concern. I'm not in favor of losing any of those classes. We were told in the beginning that no classes would be cut, and now we're hearing otherwise. So I'm glad that I asked that on Monday. That's very concerning. My question is, would it save money with the current teacher or athletic director just doing athletics?
Well, the individual who currently occupies that job is retiring. So we would have to maintain the stipend position nevertheless, is my, right, because it's currently a stipended job. So what essentially you're asking is if the status quo is kept, is that correct?
Yeah, if that person came back and just did the athletic job.
Well, I don't want to get into the realm of speculating on whether individuals do or don't want to work for Torrington Public Schools, but we could probably get an answer to the budgeted amount, right? So what's the total cost right now for the current setup versus the proposal? I know that number was presented at some point as part of the budget packet. I just don't have it in front of me. Okay, so the net, 10,000 what? The net savings? Okay, so the stipend is 10,000, and then currently that's a top step teacher. Top step's over 100 now. Hmm? Yeah, And then the top step teacher is like 100 grand, right? Give or take. So it's 110 now. What we're proposing is an administrative salary at 120.
130 is what the proposal is.
So that's a net gain of 20. So you're talking about $77,000 is the difference between the status quo and the proposal if we were to maintain the teaching job, is my understanding of what just happened.
Wouldn't it be cost effective?
Well, it would be cost effective by about $77,000, but again, you know, we would be getting into speculative territory on whether certain top step teachers would like to work for Torrington Public Schools or not, if we're going to operate on that number, right? Because that number is predicated on top step teacher pay. So, and with the individual currently doing it, retiring, I'm not sure how a new stipended athletic director would be selected, but we probably couldn't guarantee any particular teacher salary associated with the individual getting the stipend until we know who it is. Is that right? Okay. Of course, the floor is still yours. I don't know if you were.
Okay. It was just a question and a concern, but I'm definitely not in favor of losing any of those classes, especially UConn level classes that we worked hard to get.
Great. So to that end, I would just like to briefly straw poll the board's consideration on whether we think we would like to add an amount of $57,000 to the budget specifically for a 1.0 teacher, right, in the physical education, department. So if you would like to do that, just raise your hand. This is non-binding, it's not a vote, straw poll. And if you would not like to do that, raise your hand. Mr. Knight, you didn't vote for either of those. Are you ambivalent, or do you have further concerns? Yeah, so I'm just taking a quick informal straw poll on whether people would like to restore a teaching position of a PE teacher at the high school that in the current budget would be eliminated. Okay, hit us with it. Yeah, so I believe the earlier discussion was that if the position is eliminated as presently proposed, we would lose a couple of sections of elective courses in that department, one of which at least was athletic training, sports medicine, UConn, yeah, sports medicine, which is a UConn-related course. I'm not sure what the other two were. My
Sports
memory's
medicine, UConn Health, UConn Medical.
Okay. So we'd be losing electives so that those teachers could teach the core PE courses instead. So I'm asking if folks would be generally supportive of restoring that cut position, and everybody but you said yes. I hope that you're yes too. Perfect. Okay. So when we bring this forward as a motion, we will include that amendment. I'm keeping track of what the amount will have to be. Don't worry. So the other issue left outstanding, I think, Mr. Putnam.
Yep, the remaining issue that came up week over week in our meetings was the assistant principal versus dean position, and the back and forth amongst the budget committee. We were seeking to see if anybody would actually, from Torrington High School, could comment on whether they thought there would be value in having it be an assistant principal versus a dean. The group tossed around all kinds of ideas, whether or not it would be both, or if it was better to have it be a 12-month assistant principal versus a 10-month dean. That was the question that was most common, if anybody was available to answer that.
If you'd like to ask, I mean, that was one of the discussions. I mean, he is here this evening. If you'd like to ask him, that's fine. I mean, I think the question where we ended off Monday, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Mr. Scott could definitely answer, was the board's decision to either keep the AP and see what happens with the budget, or change that model and put the dean in, which was, I think it was $30,000, Kim, or something to that nature. But by all means, if they want more clarifications from Principal Scott as to the dean handling the discipline and other duties, as Ms. Schulte had referenced, that the job description is exactly the same with the exception of the months. So that was a real strong point of clarification for the Board of Education. I know, Mr. Corey, you had asked that. So from a job description standpoint, obviously it comes down to months, but by all means, if the board has a specific question for Mr. Scott, he's
If
here.
I could just add to that, Mr. Corey, just that understanding that part of this part of the budget process was to come forward, the Board of Education, trying to come forward, what exactly everybody needs to get it done. Look, cuts and changes are going to have to occur, hopefully not, but it's going to happen. But in this particular time, we've been operating under the premise that what do we need, what's the best solution to get it done? There was a bunch of discussion, there were public comments. So that's why we're asking, not that we couldn't do it, what would be the best solution for you? And obviously the cards will have to fall where they may. And just, it's a $30,000 difference, correct? Ish.
Yes, that's correct.
Can I?
Good, of
Yeah,
course.
just the one other thing, because you know, I guess you might label me the occasional spendthrift. One of the issues I raised is whether it would be beneficial or not to maintain the AP position and then add a dean, or do you feel like that would really just, it would make you a little top heavy? Like, what's the workload like? I mean, what we're really, my perspective on this budget, just so I can frame this question for you, is really right now our job is to consider what would be a net positive. So, you know, I appreciate the financial reality that we may not be actually able to get it done when all this is over, but it's incumbent on us to propose what would actually be beneficial. So I guess you know, as we decide what to do, I just want to know if really the most expensive option would be a net benefit, or if you feel like it's just sort of superfluous at that point.
Thank you. We do process more referrals now than we did then overall. Some of those are shifted. We definitely deal with a lot more lower level referrals than we used to. I mean, and as you'll see in our upcoming School Improvement Committee presentation, our major referrals, or our significantly major referrals, things like possession, fighting, distribution, are down significantly compared to 4 years ago. But we do have a significant number of major referrals that come in that are not as significant, things like dress code violation, things like technology violations, acceptable use policy violations. So it is a large number of referrals. So sure, if no cost is a matter, then we would love to go back to our original full team, but I know that that's just not a reality of when we look at the fact that we have contracts that increase salaries by 3.5% per year, and yet we have consistently received a 0% budget from the city. So, I mean, there's the financial reality, and then there's the idealistic answer. So I think I gave you both.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. And I'm sorry to insert myself here, but Monday night, I think I might have caused a little bit of confusion, and I would like to clarify what I had said Monday night too, because you just said something, Mr. Scott, about the ideal world, and I said something about that on Monday night. But when we were all charged with developing our budgets back in the fall, we don't look at the ideal in that case, right? I mean, we all come in as fiscally responsible as we can. And my recollection is that, and I congratulate you and your team for coming forward and saying, you know, yes, in an ideal world, this will be great. However, if push comes to shove and we have to, we could do with the dean in place of the AP, correct?
The reality is we have gone pretty much this whole year short an assistant principal. And as Mr. Marchand probably not so fondly recalls, not that many years ago, we went a full half year without a third assistant principal. So we have done it before, so we can certainly do it again, as long as Andrew Marchand does not try to leave the Torrington Public Schools. You know, this is something that's been past practice. Would we love to have our third assistant principal here with us right now? Of course.
Thank you. That's important to me. I just wanted to make sure the board understood why we had this ongoing confusion back and forth, and that's why.
Gary?
So I guess my thought would be, we're not in the ideal situation, but why wouldn't, I mean, I think we're at the point where if we're going to go with the dean, that if we get more than we want, we would slot, and we would convert to an AVP, which would make more sense to me, but you're usually spendthrift, but.
Hey, somebody's got to advocate for it.
Correct. No, I agree, but after all the discussions, I would stick it with the dean and hope to get the money, and Mr. Marchand's going to probably throw my grandkid in the pool and make him swim more during practice, but I think it would be practical to go that route, but again, I haven't been involved in budget that much, so.
Thanks, Kristen.
I'm thinking the best case scenario here would be to put the AP in the budget with anticipation that we might not be able to afford it and have to go to a dean at that point, and cut $30,000. I don't want to say it's like a wish list, but, it would be better for our students if we had that, and better for our teachers, and better for the rest of the admin. So that's where I would lean, putting the assistant principal in the budget at $30,000 higher than the dean position. So there is that summer help as well. And if we had to make cuts down the road, we know where we need to start.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I would agree with that at a minimum, right? My position would probably be to say, just put them both. But at a minimum, I would be inclined to agree. I think there's a lot of work that happens in our schools over the summer, and we're already carrying this position anyway, right? So we're not really talking about an addition to the extant budget so much as removing a savings from the proposed budget. And I think those two are different things. And that's all I'll say. Mr. Putnam, you wanted to add something?
I was just going to say, I would agree with Ms. Conway that going back to the assistant principal, like we kind of floated around on Monday night as the happy medium. I like your spendthrift approach, Ed, but I don't think that one's likely to happen. So I would be comfortable following Ms. Conway's lead on that one.
Do other folks want to add to the discussion? And if not, we can do a straw poll on, I guess I'll call through options until one of them has a majority. So if you would like to restore the AP position, and that's that, just not add a dean or anything, just a $30,000 difference, right? To restore an assistant principal position to the budget, raise your hand. Okay, and if you would care to keep it as is, I think, is that where the other votes are, maybe? Yeah, okay, so, non-binding vote, but for now, I'm gonna add it there and call for the motion as amended as such, and then we can always beat the issue up a little bit more. Give me 1 second, what is this? 726. Just want to make sure I ask for the right amount. Do any other members of the board want to raise discussion topics for this budget? Or are we just about there? I would also hear a motion to approve the amended budget in the amount of $82,726,936. Do I have that number right? I don't know if anybody else was tracking it, but I feel like that number is right. If nobody says no.
So sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, so with the changes made tonight, I would have it at $82,726,936.
Mr. Corey, though, we have the exact amount of number for the lever 2, step 5, so I don't know if you want to make it the exact precise number.
Yeah, yeah, whatever the number would be with the two changes that we just
It was
discussed.
58,697 is what that number would be, instead of 57,000, which I gave you.
58,697. 97, and then,
contract.
and is it a fixed 30 for the administrative change?
The exact difference between the two is $30,111.
And 58, I'm doing old school math for anybody who's an old school teacher. I hope that you appreciate it. All right, so it's a net change of 88,808 to 82,639,936, right? That was the final number coming into tonight, correct? Okay. 8. So it would be, what, 82,728,000, did I write it for? 744?
That's
Is that
what I
right?
got.
Great. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to adopt the final budget in that amount. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on the question before us? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Mr. Berger, how would you like your vote to be recorded?
Sorry?
How would you like your vote on the budget to be recorded? Oh, you did, I didn't see, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your work, everybody in the room, everybody on both sides of me. This was a journey, and it's not over yet, but we at least get a little bit of a break. Now we have a possible executive session regarding discussion concerning records of strategy or negotiations related to collective bargaining with the teachers union and a proposed dress code policy. Is there a motion to enter executive session to discuss the same? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So we are in executive session at 7:57 PM. We'll just take a brief trip. We are back in open session at 8:15. By mistake, we didn't put possible action, so I would just seek a brief amendment from the board to add as an item G9, possible action regarding the negotiated dress code policy with the teachers union.
Second.
Okay, great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that's on the agenda. Now, I would hear a motion to approve the negotiated dress code policy with the TEA. Wow, look at you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? No from Mr. Knight. Any abstentions? Okay, so that carries. Items for the upcoming agenda. We'll probably by then be hearing about bidders on the landscaping. Hopefully, we'll learn a little bit more about the roof project, some budget stuff, all the usual fare. Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Kisco. Oh, yes, an update on the audit. And that's it for now. We'll have plenty more to come. Future meetings, they're on the agenda, which is publicly available. I don't feel like reading them today. Comments for the good of the order, starting with Mr. Knight. Mr. Kisco. Ms. Saleo. Mr. Kalesha. Great. He seems thrilled. He seems thrilled. Mr. Putnam.
Great meeting. Thank you, everybody, for all their effort this budget season. We really appreciate it, and thank you for the kind gifts. Everybody have a great night.
Mr. Euclid.
Well, thank you for the gifts. I think Kristen's enjoying the food tonight, as we all are, and great meeting.
Ms. Conway.
Thank you. I am looking forward to them after my medical procedure tomorrow to enjoy them when I can eat again. I also went to History Day. It was great. Thank you. Mr. Wilson, the third graders that I read to had concern about dinosaurs. They would like more dinosaurs in the curriculum.
I agree.
They were super cute, and I think I was with them for about an hour and a half. But 45 minutes of that, we talked about dinosaurs. Love it.
Mr. Berg.
Good meeting.
Great. Anybody down there want to add anything? I feel bad sometimes calling on all of you when you don't always have something to add.
Thank you to everybody, to the board members. I know it's a volunteer position, and you guys give everything to this position for the children and for the taxpayers. I really appreciate it, and I enjoy working with you.
Thank you.
I thought there was money in the budget for our end of year pay. There's no money in there for us?
And I just want to say thank you to Ms. Gagnon and her team. Obviously, central office put the gifts together, but she's the one behind the great food you have there. So thank you to her and her team.
Likewise, I'm looking forward to it. I don't like to eat during meetings, but as I assured the superintendent, I'm going to be eating this in short order. No, thank you all for your, you want to add something?
Well, I just want to say thanks to Sue and congratulations and good luck. Happy retirement.
Well, I was not so gently asked not to make a big show on Sue's behalf, but I will consider that over the next couple of months before your last meeting. But in the meantime, congratulations. Thank you all for your hard work on the budget. I know that it takes a long time and the board agonizes over issues that are relatively inexpensive and sometimes seemingly petty, but we got there together. And you guys have all done the lion's share of the work, so really thank you for that. And I won't keep you any longer. I will hear a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 8:20.